At a warehouse just outside the city limits of Chicago, the answers to the question, how can I help, are being prepared for a 5,000-mile journey to Ukraine. It's a journey that Chris Manson has just completed. As devastating images from the first week in the Russian invasion of Ukraine flooded screens, like most Americans, Manson says he simply watched in horror. That is until his 7-year-old daughter asked a life-changing question repeatedly. How can we help?
I wanted to be able to tell my daughter I was going to try to do something, so kind of got this crazy idea to go ahead and, we said, well, what if maybe, I'm sure they need ambulances. I see they're getting blown up.
According to Ukrainian officials, as the war rages on, ambulances are in short supply, with entire fleets stuck in territory currently occupied by Russian forces and hundreds of others destroyed.
The pattern here is that health workers and hospitals themselves appear to be being deliberately targeted.
For Manson, who works in government relations at a Catholic health system in Peoria, Illinois, getting the first ambulance was surprisingly as simple as making a call to a local provider.
And the first words out of his mouth were, well, do you need gas or diesel? He didn't hesitate.
Getting it to Ukraine was another question. But Ellen Lopatkina, a Ukrainian-American logistics specialist who also runs this warehouse, now full of donations, had the answers.
A lot of moving parts were in motion at that time, and it so happened that we were able to get the first few on the plane. And once the first one came in and we successfully delivered that to Ukraine, the next one came in and the next one.
Getting them to Europe by air or sea, Manson, a man who previously had no connection to Ukraine, has now twice visited the country behind the wheel of a Midwestern American ambulance.
What he did was a simple gesture of like, how I can help.
So far, Manson says he's rounded up a dozen donated ambulances.
Fire departments in Iowa, you got hospitals in Ohio, you've got private ambulance companies in North Dakota and Minnesota, El Paso, Illinois.
The ones Manson gets are usually older, but they still run well. Each one is packed with desperately needed medical equipment and basic supplies.
They have ventilators, they have cardiac monitors, and also they're always stuffed with wound care supplies.
And often includes messages from the donors to the Ukrainian people.
Ambulance are like, oh, like Chris is a great guy, he's an ambulance guy. And then on the 7th, you're like, an ambulance guy.
According to Ukrainian officials, some 3% of all the ambulances donated to the country from all around the world have come from Chris Manson's efforts.
As long as there's a need, we'll continue to keep working to get them and to get them over there. And, God willing, the war ends soon.
Diane Gallagher, CNN, Chicago.